الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها النبي إذا طلقتم النساء فطلقوهن لعدتهن وأحصوا العدة واتقوا الله ربكم لا تخرجوهن من بيوتهن ولا يخرجن إلا أن يأتين بفاحشة مبينة وتلك حدود الله ومن يتعد حدود الله فقد ظلم نفسه لا تدري لعل الله يحدث بعد ذلك أمرا فإذا بلغن أجلهن فأمسكوهن بمعروف أو فارقوهن بمعروف وأشهدوا ذوي عدل منكم وأقيموا الشهادة لله ذلكم يوعظ به من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر ومن يتق الله يجعل له مخرجا ويرزقه من حيث لا يحتسب ومن يتوكل على الله فهو حسبه إن الله بالغ أمره قد جعل الله لكل شيء قدرا واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر واللائي لم يحضن وأولاة الأحمال أجلهن أن يضعن حملهن ومن يتق الله يجعل له من أمره يسرا ذلك أمر الله أنزله إليكم ومن يتق الله يكفر عنه سيئاته ويعظم له أجرا أسكنوهن من حيث سكنتم من وجدكم ولا تضاروهن لتضيقوا عليهن وإن كن أولات حمل فأنفقوا عليهن حتى يضعن حملهن فإن أرضعن لكم فآتوهن أجورهن وأتمروا بينكم بمعروف وإن تعاسرتم فسترضع له أخرى لينفق ذو سعة من سعته ومن قدر عليه رزقه فلينفق مما آتاه الله لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا ما آتاها سيجعل الله بعد عسر يسرا وكأين من قرية أتت عجبت عن أمر ربها ورسله فحاسبناها حسابا شديدا وعذبناها عذابا نكرا فذاقت وبال أمرها وكان عاقبة أمرها خسرا أعد الله لهم عذابا شديدا فاتقوا الله يا أولي الألباب الذين آمنوا قد أنزل الله إليكم ذكرا رسولا يتلو عليكم آيات الله مبينات ليخرج الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات من الظلمات إلى النور ومن يؤمن بالله ويعمل صالحا يدخله جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا قد أحسن الله له رزقا الله الذي خلق 7 سماوات ومن الأرض مثلهن يتنزل الأمر بينهن لتعلموا أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما.
As the gender war rages on, in order to keep the peace, we must discuss the exact facts. Welcome to Exactly. I'm your host, Saudi Man. Remove your shoes and enter upon your right foot, upon the right state of mind, bi'idhnillah. Topic: the worst form of polygyny. Marrying single moms. The worst form of polygyny, marrying single moms. So, I'm going to start the topic off a little off topic and then I'll build back to the topic. I'll start with the benefits someone has listed, and on several sources they have listed benefits in marrying single moms. Advantages, benefits in marrying single moms. Now, it would seem like all of the advantages for the single mom, but these sources are listing benefits for the man in marrying a single mom. Okay? According to the Gospel of Derek Jackson, this is one of the sources. This is the source I decided to go with in naming the benefits because he's a popular person. He is a super simp. He is a pander bear to women, tells them exactly what they like to hear. And even though they found out that he is a total hypocrite and does not practice what he preaches, they still follow him in large numbers. I think my daughter puked up on me, so ignore this thing right here. I think that's my daughter. Nevertheless, Derek Jackson says, he lists number one, benefits in marrying a single mom. He says they can cook. Now, automatically, of course, the guy's a hypocrite. We know that. We're going to exclude that. We're going to ignore that for the time being, and we're going to just deal with the things that he dictated as far as advantages in marrying single moms. He says they can cook, although we know that's not always true. Okay? Because they're forced to. He said they can cook because they're forced to. I've seen single moms TV dinner. I've seen single moms microwavable this and that. I was married to one. She had 2 little boys, and she almost microwaved them one day. So when I wanted a nice meal, I had to cook it myself for her and her kids. For myself, her, and her kids. So it's not always true, but this is Derek Jackson, so take it with a grain of salt. He says they can cook because they're forced to in order to feed their kids. Now, grown men don't necessarily have the same palate as a child. So that's one problem with that. Second one is that assuming they all can cook because they're forced to. Again, there's a new invention that Derek Jackson may not have noticed or come across. It's called a microwave. And there are microwave dinners. There are TV dinners. There are ways to get around feeding a child, get around cooking, and also getting around feeding a child healthy. Okay. Nevertheless, he goes to point 2. He says their single moms they're financially responsible. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brother Jihad. He says they are financially responsible. Just blanket. They're financially responsible. Then he gives some explanation. He says because, they're forced to prioritize their kids. Now, if you notice in point number 1, they were forced to learn how to cook. Sounds like trauma. Who wants to eat trauma food? Who wants to eat trauma food? Okay. Secondly, he says they're financially responsible because they are forced to prioritize their kids. Again, married to several women, not always financially responsible. I mean, just waste. Waste their own money. Just waste, and try to bring that waste toward me. I'm like, hey, pump your brakes. Pump your brakes on that wasting. The wasters are the brothers of the shayatin. The wasters are brothers of devils, Allah says in Quran. So I'm not going to be of those that waste. Because you tend to burn through your money, which is not my money, I need to know what you need my money for. I need to know. I really do. Okay. So he says they are forced to learn how to cook and forced, to prioritize or to be financially or fiscally responsible, which is not true. Okay. But nevertheless, he says both they are forced to do. And that's not a smooth transition. That's not a smooth transition. Okay. Nevertheless, he says they're not out clubbing or on the prowl. Derek Jackson. Derek Jackson, this dude is bananas. He's more than bananas. He's plantains. This dude is plantains, subhanAllah. He says they're not out clubbing or on the prowl. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brother Ayub Abdullah. Now, he says they're not out clubbing or on the prowl. He don't know the single moms that we know. He don't know the single moms that we know. We know that these single moms were raised by single grandmothers, okay? So what happens, or most of them, many of them, they try to drop the kids off at the grandmother. Grandmother say, man, I'm finna go out. Grandma finna go out, okay, to the same club daughter trying to go to. So again, he says they're not out clubbing or on the prowl because, see, everything is explanation. He's really good with women, well, leading them on, like at the job, because they can't keep bringing randos back home. Who says they can't keep bringing randos back home? How? Now, there are reasons and ways to become a single mom. We'll get into those Islamically and un-Islamically, okay? We'll get into those. He says they can't keep bringing randos back home. What he should say is they should not be bringing randos back home. But Derrick Jaxn, he says they can't keep bringing randos back home, subhanAllah. This is a problem. It's a problem because, see, he's selling delusion. He feeds them hubris and sells them delusion. Okay, nevertheless. Another point he makes, he says, they won't judge you having kids of your own because that would be hypocrisy. Okay, that's what he says. They won't judge you having kids of your own because that would be hypocrisy. Let me explain something to you. You know how many women look at the Kendra G show. Kendra G show, that dating show, whatever call-in show she has. How many times have you heard women say, I got kids, but I prefer a man that don't have kids? Because if he got kids, he might not have time for my kids. This is real life stuff. These are not trolls. These are people living and marinating in their own delusion. Okay? Living and marinating in their own delusion. Okay? So he says that they won't judge you on having kids because if they did, that would be hypocrisy. Well, Mr. Derrick Jaxn, I would like to welcome you to the real world. But nevertheless, who's worried about being judged? A man having children, that's prowess. That's status for a man. It is disgraceful for a man to leave behind no sons. That's disgraceful in many different aspects. Now you say, well, Rasulullah didn't leave behind any sons. That's different. That was to stabilize the ummah. Imagine Muhammad. Look how much fitna over Ali radiallahu an, his cousin. Look how much fitna over Ali radiallahu an. Okay, imagine if he left a son. Been so much fitna over that. When the right to elect a ruler is the ummah's right. Okay, to give bay'ah to whoever they feel will lead them correctly. Now, if Rasulullah left the son, people would think by prophetic right he would have to be the leader. But we'll go into that another time. So nevertheless, people desire sons since the beginning of time. They desire sons since the beginning of time. And Allah Ta'ala says men desire women and desire sons. Okay? So nevertheless, Derrick Jaxn continues. The king, super simp. Okay? He says, you get to see what kind of mother she is and what kind of mom she'll be to your kids. Well, see, what Derrick Jaxn didn't realize, a lot of times women, when they become single moms, they become so traumatized they tie their tubes, have them burnt at the tip. They have what do you call it, hysterectomies or whatever they have, whatever, just not to have any more children. A lot of them go on life and body changing permanent types of birth control. Okay, that means if they do have a child, they might have a half child, okay, a half-witted child. Nevertheless, okay, he's saying you get to see what kind of mom she is and what kind of mom she'll be to your kids if you have children by her. Okay, if you have children by her, he's saying this is the test. I'll agree with him on this one. You'll see what type of mom she is. But before you know what type of mom she is, you know what type of woman she is, whether or not she had them children under wedlock, what was the circumstance, what was the situation, who is the dude that did the deed, that had the fun making them babies, that you now have to claim responsibility and take responsibility for. Okay, all of that is telling. Okay, Derrick Jaxn says, I got two more. Derrick Jaxn says they're sufficient, they're self-sufficient, and self-reliant because even if a single mom gets child support, it isn't enough. See, just these blanket dookie statements. I'll call them something else, but these blanket dookie statements. Even if she gets child support, it's not enough. Okay. By the way, Islam defines child support as being there for your children to teach them and advise them. That's the ultimate child support in Islam. Yes, that's financial support, but financial support, ask the women, is almost never enough. According to women, it's almost never enough. This ain't nothing. You pay the daycare, that ain't nothing. You give them this much money that y'all agreed to, that ain't nothing. Everything is nothing. So how about I just give you nothing? Oh, you gonna give me something? Well, you said I was giving you nothing. It's a problem. Okay. So nevertheless, they're self-sufficient. They're listen, it's like Cat Williams said, how can another person lower your self-esteem? It's esteem of your blank blank self. So how can someone lower your self-esteem when it's esteem of yourself? How can someone say they are self-sufficient if they're relying on child support? How do you become self-sufficient relying on child support? Okay, that's a problem. Okay, I have a situation. I didn't get Islamic rights taught my children, but I wouldn't put on child support at the same time. And I was told you need to be grateful. You should be grateful. No, I shouldn't be grateful. I should be Islamic. I should be Muslim. And you should be Muslim too in this situation. But I was told to be grateful I was not put on child support. Anyway. So, and I gave the Islamic child support, of course. But they need the Catholic child support. They're self-sufficient because even if a single mom gets child support, it's not enough. So they know how to fend for themselves. You mean to tell me now Kevin Simers covered this and other people covered this. You mean to tell me you go into a relationship with a single mom, you're not going to be asked to do anything for them kids? I gave you all a real life scenario. There was a woman that said she wanted to marry me, okay? And I know y'all say, no, you want to marry her. Well, I think it was kind of sort of mutual. I tend to try to ignore the insanity, which is one of my faults. I try to ignore the insanity, but it comes back to bite me. Insanity is insanity, and it must be treated. It must be cured. Okay? So nevertheless, she tells me, I say, what's your budget? What's your budget? What would I have to have in order to sustain you? What is your budget? She says, well, as far as my budget, you ain't got to worry about my kids, because my kids, their dads take care of them, and you ain't got to worry about none of that. It's just me you got to worry about. I said, well, give me your budget. Give me what I need. So she came up with, bruh, like 1,700, something like that. I'm like, I said, a month, right? A month. I said, I said, can you itemize that for you? I think she's saying nails, toes, probably weave. I don't know what. She's a Muslim, but I don't know. I don't know I don't know how she gets 1,700. First of all, you say, brother, rent. I'm not responsible for that rent. If she's not coming to live with me, I'm not responsible for that rent over there. I can contribute. I'm not responsible for any debt that she incurred before that. My right is that she come live with me. Okay? Her right is that she has her own resident, that she doesn't share her resident with another woman. That's her right. Okay? I respect that. Okay? But don't have a whole situation somewhere else and expect me to handle all that just because I found you. There are a lot of women that don't have kids, that are younger, prettier, tighter, purer, more chaste, whatever you want to call it, more desirable, that deserve 17, or that could demand 17. But that's another thing. I want to go off on a tangent and lose you. So he said that they tend to know how to fend for themselves. So she said that, 1,700, is this much for me and this much for my kids. I said, but yesterday you said that I don't have to worry about your kids because their fathers take care of them. One thing I don't do, I don't argue about my kids. One thing I don't do, I don't argue about my kids. I said, I'm merely quoting you. I'm just saying, boy, anything about my kids, I don't. I say, you bat crap crazy. You are insane. You know, she's insane. Capital I insane. She's insane. Just told me don't worry about her kids. Then she brings up her kids in the budget. I can't, bro. Okay, I'm gonna continue. Okay. Last thing, Derek Jackson, super simp. Okay. Uh, Panda Bear, number one, he says they won't bail when things get rocky. See, liar, liar, pants on fire. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Most of them become single moms because they bailed. They bailed. 70 to 80% of divorces, women initiate them. They're the first ones to contact the lawyer. They're the first ones to file. The men are being served first. Okay? You understand that? So he's saying they won't bail when things get rocky because she and her kid, or kids, he used the singular, are invested in ways a woman without kids needs to be. Bruh. Women with kids will pack up and zoom out on you pregnant. They will pack up and zoom out on you el pregnito, if that's proper Spanish, of one of the Latin dialects. I'm telling you, this is exactly what you'll get. This is exactly what you'll get. Nevertheless, this is what Derek Jackson said. So, because I listed Derek Jackson's benefits, I'm going to list someone else's disadvantage. Now, you say, brother, Muslim women, we are suffering. As Muhammad SAW stated, we will follow the ways of those that preceded us, shibran bi shibrin, with dara and bi dara'in, step by step and inch by inch. So much so if they went into a desert lizard hole, you will follow them into that hole. And that hole is too small for a human to fit. So Muhammad SAW was using hyperbole to let you know how closely you would follow them. And we followed them. Our divorce rates, our outlook on what a real man is, and high value, and all this other kind of stuff. So much so, if Muslim women list the qualities they look for in a man, Muhammad SAW wouldn't qualify. If Muslim women list the qualities they want in a man, the Sahaba rely anhum wouldn't qualify. Okay, many of them wouldn't qualify. Nevertheless, so the disadvantages that were listed, just in general, not just specific Muslim, specific kuffar, in general, disadvantages of marrying, and I'm not gonna say dating because they use the term dating as well. So marrying a single mom, kids might not like you. Number one, this is through consensus studies, statistics, what do you call it? Polls, whatever, right? Okay, kids may not like you. You ain't my daddy. No, I ain't your daddy because I'm here. I can't be your daddy because I'm here, So that's number one. Kids may not like you, and when I go to the dating, I had a few of them. I lost one because I'm taking from Facebook dating, and it's one of the sites I take from, and it's once you click an X, I'm just swiping through. Click it. You got to click X. You can swipe left or click X. You can't just go to the next one and leave that one. Now you can go back to second look, and the one you clicked X on, go back and screenshot. But I clicked X on one, kept strolling. I said, I could use that for the other show, and I went back and I couldn't find it. So anyway, nevertheless, it said disadvantages. Her kids may not like you. Number one. Number two, her ex. See, we're gonna get into this. Because now we're getting into the poly aspect of it. But this is not polygyny. This is polyandry. This is equivalent to polyandry. A woman having more than one husband. Okay? So her ex could be an issue. This dude could be doing a bid, about to get out. She been writing him, communicating. One lady was sending her dude $300 a week in prison because he had nobody else of her other man's money. SubhanAllah. So nevertheless, her ex, lot of issues with that. Lot of issues with that. Okay. A lot of times, even if they're Muslimah, they were married to a guy that likes to twirl around in worship. Then they marry a person that's just, istaqim, he's just firm on deen, practicing what he understands of deen sincerely. And the twirler comes twirling through, and wonder why his son ain't twirling, Anyway. So, in the last disadvantage that's mentioned by this statistic, poll, whatever, review, it says, you're not her top priority. You're not her top priority. Again, when I go into the delusional dating profile at the end of the show, you'll see what I'm talking about. You are not her priority. So, number one, her kids might not like you. Number two, her ex. And there's a lot of, details with that. A lot of subcategories. You're not her top priority. Okay? You're not her top priority. Benefits of marrying, and I got to cover this, benefits of marrying a single mom Islamically. We are Muslim. Okay? I'm Muslim, you're Muslim, alhamdulillah. Okay? So the benefits of marrying a single mom Islamically. Note, most Islamic sources, probably all of them, okay? Most Islamic sources equate single mom to widow or divorcee. A divorced woman or widow. Okay? They attribute single mom to that. You say, that's not fair. Well, everybody ain't from your city. the ulama that wrote that this and the muhaddithin that, that collected these hadith and gave shara, of these hadith, they weren't from your hometown. They weren't from the hood, So they understood single mom as a divorced woman or a widow. That's what they understood. Women actually preserved themselves pretty much back then. And we remember early Americas, they had a higher, status, of chastity and dignity, the way they dress and the way they behave even, okay? In the early Americas, okay? After they raped and robbed and killed, after all that, then they had a higher, whatever, dress code. Anyway, I know they wouldn't dress modestly when they were raping. Nevertheless, that's what most Islamic sources, single mom equates to divorce or widow, okay? Sahih Bukhari 6387, narrated Jabir, okay? He says, my father died and left behind 7 or 9 daughters, okay? So his father died and left several daughters, okay? Young daughters. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I'm going to paraphrase some of it. Well, it's all translation, so it's all paraphrasing technically. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, did you get married, O Jabir? Jabir replied, yes. He asked, is she a virgin or a matron? Is she thayyib or ayyim? Is she divorced or widow? Respectfully. He says, I replied, she is a matron. Okay. He said, why didn't you marry a virgin girl so she might play with you and so that you might play with her and she might play with you? Or you might make her laugh and she might make you laugh? Basically a wife you can enjoy. I said, my father died, leaving 7 or 9 girls, orphans. I did not like to bring a young girl like them. See that? So he had a logic to why he didn't. But look at the advice of our Rasul Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did you get married? Yes. You marry a virgin or a matron, divorce a widow woman, He said, I married a matron. He said, why don't you marry a virgin? He said, my father left behind 7 or 9 girls, young girls. I don't want to marry nobody their age to help me raise them. You know what I'm saying? And that was the whole point of it. So I married a woman who can look after them. He said, Muhammad Sallam said, may Allah bestow his blessings on you. So Muhammad Sallam praised his action. He was looking out for his sisters, his younger sisters. So he didn't marry a young one. He was looking out for his younger sisters. Praise be to Allah Ta'ala, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen. So that was the logic. But look at the initial reaction of the Rasul Muhammad Sallam. Why did you marry somebody young, somebody a virgin or what have you? Why didn't you marry someone like that? So now you're going to say, well, where's the one about the benefits of marrying a single mom? Well, this woman that he married had children, so she knew how to take care of children. One of the things that Derrick Jackson said, that you can see what type of mother she is already before you have children with her. Okay, that's one thing I agree with him to a certain extent on. And he married a matron for that particular reason. So nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But I can't find hadith on single moms that went to the club, didn't use birth control, didn't make the man strap up, woke up, moist. I'm gonna keep the baby, and you gonna pay. You gonna either be with me or you gonna pay a shotgun type situation. I mean, look, bro, that's modern day phenomena. And if it happened in the past, it didn't happen frequent enough. It didn't happen frequent enough for us to make a big fuss about it, or have statistics on it. If you all know narrations, then you can share those with me, inshallah ta'ala, okay? As per tonight's topic, dealing strictly with the topic, the worst form of polygyny, the worst form of poly, marrying single moms. Regular polygyny is what? You're married, or you are courting more than one woman, and you set a date for each one to marry. Perfectly fine. Or you're married to 1, 2, or 3, and you find another to your liking that is willing to deal with you, and then you marry her, and that's polygyny. Well, you got 1, you get 2. That's polygyny. Okay, so that's how it works. That's regular. Okay, that's regular. You marry this woman, ain't no dude, unless she has a child. If she's a single mom, now you have a dude. So you marry that woman and a dude. You married that dude. The exes. Remember I said the disadvantages? Second one, her ex. You don't know what type of mentality this person is. As a Muslim, we weren't about them twirling. Weren't about them believing a prophet after Rasul Muhammad sallam claiming to be Muslim. We worried about things like that. And other things dealing with this guy. Now, if he's a knucklehead, then you worry about his prison release date. You worried about him coming around, starting trouble. You worried about him coming around when you're not home, you're out working, trying to take care of her and that child that they made, after the club that night. It's just, it's a bad situation. So now, regular poly, you marry a woman, say she has no kids. You marry another woman that has no kids, none outside of yours. That's polygyny, regular polygyny. Now you marry a single mom who has these kids. There's a dude. The best case scenario, he's dead. Best case scenario, he's dead. Second best case scenario, he's locked up for life. Okay? Because if he's not, he has a date of release. And believe me, that's on her mind. She got elephant ears and elephant brain on this one. She ain't gonna forget. She knows that man's date if she's not communicating with him. I'm just sending him some Islamic material. Okay, so some say monogamy is the default. That naturally a man, one man, one woman. They say that's the default. Polygyny is the exception. But others say that polygyny is the default and monogamy is the exception. Well, very few Muslims or people in general practice polygyny. Some people practice polyandry. Some women in certain tribal customs have more than one dude. Okay, more than one. I can call them husbands, whatever. A lot of people now in this Instagram, Snapchat culture, they have more than one dude. They call them side dudes, side pieces, side nigga, all this type of stuff. And women are bragging about this. Nobody wants you. Nobody wants you or your kids. We don't. We don't want you or your kids. I hate to sound hard, but I'll be blunt. We don't want you or your kids. You're no good. You're no good. We can't do any good for you. You don't prioritize your children, which is one of the disadvantages. They prioritize their children over you. You're not prioritizing your children. You find a man that's willing to deal with you and your children. He's willing to contribute to you and your children, to protect and maintain to a certain extent you and your children. And you still want to thought it up. You still want to belong to the streets. You're ungrateful. You should ingratiate yourself. You're ungrateful. Totally ungrateful. So, what I'm saying is that regular polygyny, you marry a woman, marry another woman, that's polygyny, okay? Societally, people that are not Muslim are being with multiple girls. And what they say, like 30% of men, are actually reproducing with women. Only 30% of men are reproducing with like 67% of women. So these women are being recycled. So there's a poly situation going on anyway, whether you want to be married or not. How many women that are against polygyny got so-called cheated on it? I don't know how a dude ain't married to you cheating on you. He's not even your husband. He dude has no commitment to you. I had to tell my niece is a kafira. I told her, he did this and I caught him talking to a girl on the phone. I said, what business is that of yours? You ain't his wife. Leave that man alone. And one dude was in the background listening to me talk to her on speakerphone. He was like, yeah. He's a Kafir dude too. He's a military Kafir dude. He was like, yeah. He loved what I was telling her. Start giving that man a hard time. I say, y'all need to get married. And if he marry you, you shouldn't give him a hard time. Let him marry another one. I say, his reward for putting up with you. I say, you my niece and I know you. That man got to put up with you. I mean, that's just real talk. I'm not going to pull punches. So nevertheless, monogamy, some say it's the default, polygyny is the exception, and some say polygyny is the default. I say polygyny is the default. Why? Because the law says, فَانْكِحُوا مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِنَ النِّسَاءِ, marry those who seem suitable to you among the women. مَثْنَى وَثُلَاثَ وَرُبَاعَ, 2, 3, and 4. Allah starts with 2. So the default would be 2. And then you build 3, 4. Okay? You build 3, 4. You just read what the ulama say about polygyny. Not these modern day LG, HDTV, 4K, HDMI supporting sheikhs, whatever. Not the modern day simp sheikhs, sheikh simps, not them. The actual, classical ulama, basically, I guess you'll say. So nevertheless, Allah starts with 2, you say 3, 4, okay? But if you cannot be adil, just, meaning financially, then fawahida, then one. It don't say one is better for you but new, like the Walter Dean clan says, or his worshippers, followers, whatever. It don't say one is better for you but new. It says fawahida, then one. Simple, fawahida, okay? Nevertheless, is there such a thing as monogamy with a single mom? Okay? I said it's the worst form of polygyny. So I kind of gave it up in the title. Is there such thing as monogamy with a single mom? She has kids, bro. You're going to share time, attention, resources. You're going to share affection. When that child wants to be held all night, you won't get held. Okay? You won't get held. If you need some loving, she cannot voluntarily fast without your permission, Islamically, because you may want access that day while she's fasting. So if you'll say, I don't want any access, okay, to you physically, go ahead and fast. If you say that, you can't take it back. But she can't even fast voluntarily. Ramadan, that's a given. but she can't fast voluntarily without permission because she may, inconvenience you. But when that child needs attention, you're already sharing. You're already sharing her time, attention, and affection. That's why I say it's the worst form of polygyny. Okay, so Teresa McDaniel says, aren't you gonna do that even with your wife, mother of your children? Yeah. Let me explain something to you about a pride of lions, okay? Let me use the lions as an example. A pride of lions. That male lion enjoys, the harem of lionesses. He's at the top, okay? If another lion comes in to challenge him, he must fight him off and defeat him and avoid injury because that sets him up for the next challenger, okay? He must avoid injury. What happens when, let me fix this real quick. What happens when the new lion wins, takes over the pride? What happens, okay? What happens when the new lion wins and takes over the pride? All the cubs from the previous lion king are either killed outright or sent off into the wilderness, which means most likely they won't survive. The hyenas would kill them. The hyenas be on them lions, especially when they catch them weak or disadvantaged, okay? Nevertheless, this is what happens. Yes, my children lay in bed with me, between me and my wife. You know what I'm saying? My children, that's fine. That's fine. I'm also allowed to have another wife. Okay? I'm allowed to have another wife. And that's not a punishment upon her, because if we need to go on vacation, we got an instant babysitter there. And my other wife, if she want to go on vacation, we got an instant babysitter there if we need a babysitter. Okay? We got it. You can't force her to babysit. Well, it's not about force. Okay? Hopefully I've earned that. I would have earned that, But nevertheless, yeah, you are correct in saying that your children do disadvantage you, but those are your children. It's just a different game. It's a different game. You don't, you don't feel that way toward the other kids. Now, someone posted the other day, they said, or toward your kids, excuse me. Someone posted the other day, they said, is it possible for a man to love his stepkids like he would his own? Okay? And I know that's true because I love my stepkids like I love my own. I don't have access to my stepkids. I asked my ex, how my boys doing? What boys? You only got one boy. I said, my stepkid. Ain't your stepkids. Can I speak to him? No, I don't want him speaking to you. Well, where's the father figure? One of them wherever and the other one wherever. Like, where's two different dudes? You know what I'm saying? I'm the third dude. Yeah, my fault. My bad. I take all responsibility for that. I'm the third dude. No, I'm not the third dude, but I'm the third dude with the baby, third baby daddy. Okay, so I'm saying, like, yes, I can love that child, but I don't have any rights to that child. I can't even go into a court of law and fight for rights to that child. The court will say, what? You like this child that much? Okay, pay child support then. Well, it's not my biological child, Judge. I don't care about that. You seem to love this child. You think about the child. Think about the child. Think about the child. Judges are putting non-bio dads on child support because the man sent a text message. I love your son like I love my own. I would never abandon him. Then you find out she messing around with the Amazon dude that's delivering your packages. He's delivering more than one package, every time he delivers, and you find that out, and the judge makes you pay child support because she decided to mess around on you and leave you. These are real life situations. So, it is what it is, These are real life situations. So, nevertheless, okay, the worst form of polygyny, why? Because you are sharing time, affection, attention, everything, okay? uh, child timeshare, we'll call it, okay? Uh, Even if they say I'm an empty nester, okay? My children are grown, they're out of the house. You know how many women had to jet over, fly over to assist their daughter, assist their son, or up on the phone late nights trying to solve issues for some young adults or adults that are children of theirs? You'll always be the child. You be 100 years old. All them 80-year-old children, your children. Okay. So anyway, even adult children have they like access to their mom. Adult children, if you get into an argument with the mom, which is natural part of relationships, okay. If Rasulullah couldn't avoid it, then I don't know how we can avoid it, okay, or expect to avoid it. So anyway, so you get into an argument with the mom, and the mom is sad one day. You know, they call, hey mom, how you doing? Oh, I'm okay. You sound sad. What happened? Oh, nothing. Oh, did he say anything to you? Did he made you sad? Where your daddy at? Yeah, your daddy made her happy all the time. That's why they not together, right? Because she was happy all the time. Come on, man. Anyway, so when they become adult, now they got a level of intimidation. My mama this, my mama that. Well, dude, I'm the one taking care of your mama. First of all, while you all doing your own life, I'm taking care of your mama. Your mama and I are always gonna be happy with me, like your wife ain't always happy with you. You know. Anyway, so there's still an inconvenience there, even if the children are adults and they quote unquote empty nesters. Okay. Uh, the woman is opposed to poly. Women are generally opposed to poly for different reasons. Okay. Uh, they don't like to share. Okay. They say, I don't like to share. You know, I don't like to share. But if they have children, you're sharing. Okay. You're sharing. You're sharing in some of the worst ways. Okay. Because if I'm with my wife, my second wife, a woman I married secondly, not second wife, but woman I married secondly, she can't just come and lay in between us. It's not allowed. It's not happening. Okay? But a child can. A woman that I married, the third one I married, can't come in block. She can't come in C block, you know. It's not going to happen. But a child can. Okay? So you got to understand that. Feeling insufficient. They feel like, and I heard this from women, foreign women from other, not foreign, I mean, yeah, foreign, I guess. Migrant women from other countries, women that are in other countries, live in other countries. They said that they feel, I know it's halal, but, you know, yani, I feel insufficient if I can't satisfy my husband myself. It's not in his nature for you to satisfy him yourself. It's not in his nature. It's not in that man's nature to be satisfied you by himself. He has eyes, and men, this is the physical. You know, we are attracted visually. Okay, so we're gonna see other women. We're gonna be attracted to other women. Whether or not we marry them is two different things. But you think it's make you insufficient? There's always somebody gonna look better than you. Just as I know, there's always somebody gonna look better than me. Somebody can look exactly like me and be an inch taller. Now they are now they have more preference. They can be exactly like me, the same height as me, and didn't get hit by a car in 2018 and walk with a limp. You know what I'm saying? So this is just the issue, okay? So you may say, well, I feel well, don't feel insufficient. Feel like either you're living in a halal situation or a haram situation. And if your situation is halal, mashallah, alhamdulillah, wallahu akbar. Okay? That should be your concern. Your feelings are not going to dictate my deen. I'm sorry. I got my own feelings. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if I'm praying 5 times a day, fasting Ramadan, doing exactly what Allah Ta'ala ordered me to do, I feel like I should be able to enjoy whatever Allah Ta'ala said I should enjoy. And being married to more than one is an oppression on the male. It's an oppression on the man. Okay? Allah tells us in the Quran, the more responsibility you take upon yourself, you're oppressing yourself. When you hold yourself accountable and take more responsibility, you're oppressing yourself. You're oppressing yourself, especially when you volunteer. See, we're not talking about the fitra, the natural responsibility and natural accountability. You know, nafs and jawama and all this type of things. You know what I'm saying? So we're not talking about that. We're talking about when you accept responsibility that not yours. Like the single mom with her children. She got in that situation through a certain way. Islamically, it's either divorcee or it's a widow. Okay, Islamically. But we know that these alternative Muslims are having alternative ways, having alternative kids, and now we have a different situation. We have a different situation because they don't fear Allah, or they didn't fear Allah at that particular moment in time. Then we are, now we are, it's happening. You know what I'm saying? We in all kind of situations now. Okay, but not to belabor, I'm gonna keep going. They feel insufficient. So a man should feel insufficient when you have your menses. Then, we should feel disenfranchised and insufficient because you have your menses. Oh, if I was only man enough, you wouldn't be bleeding. SubhanAllah. Anyway, nevertheless, resources usurped. Women that oppose polygyny on certain instances or altogether say resources are being usurped. Well, let me get rid of this myth. His money is not your money. Your maintenance and your protection is upon him. Your maintenance and protection is upon him. His money is not your money. So there's no resources being usurped. You think if you live in a one-story home, that if only he didn't marry that other girl, you'll have a two-story home. You complain about cleaning the one that's one story. So now you want a two-story. Okay. But that doesn't mean anything. You think because you're driving a Honda, I'm going to go German. You think if you're driving a Volkswagen, that the Volkswagen you're driving, you think if he didn't marry another woman, you'll have a Mercedes. See, this is for people, they think the resources are being usurped. First of all, I advise men all the time, don't tell your wife how much you make. You're just setting yourself up to be depreciated. You're setting yourself up to be unappreciated. Don't tell her how much you make. It's not her business. That you maintain and protect her is her business. Okay? You're not to tell her how much you make. It's not it's not your responsibility to do so. Find me the evidence. These wakils and these walis asking for W-2s. That's wild. That's bananas. That's bananas. They're asking for W-2s. Comment. Your money was my money when we were married. I guess you're saying. I'm confused. Shut up. That's the way I ran it. I ran it that way because I don't care about money. I don't care about money. And so whatever I made, I just gave it to you. I didn't have a lot of needs, so that doesn't count. That doesn't count. Okay. I'm talking about the rule. I'm not talking about how I conducted myself benevolently or above the rule. I'm saying that yeah. So that wasn't it. That wasn't it. And it's the second time you did that to me. Coming to my ex-wife, mashallah. She come in talking about, well, your money was my money. It was your money because I gave it to you. Because you paid all the bills and stuff, so I just gave you all the money so I don't have to bother with that stuff. I didn't need anything but gas money. I may have came to you and say, hey, can I have some of that back for gas? I don't know. Anyway, it says, again, his money is not your money. So there are no resources being usurped. Either he can afford you or afford the situation. Allah says, as to those women you benefit from, give them their dowries at least. Okay? Implied at least. Give them their dowries. Because some women make more than you. Okay? Some women, I know women, I couldn't afford their taxes in their homes if I married them. Let alone their mortgage or whatever. I couldn't afford their taxes. So with that being said, if we married, we would have to make some type of concessions. We would have to make some type of concessions if we married. So anyway, nevertheless, comment, Brother Qasim agreed, alhamdulillah, shukran ya akhi. Ustad Muhammad Abdullah, Amin al-Maliki. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ya akhi. Uh, anyway, that takes us to uh, the delusional dating profile of the week. It's right in lock and step with this topic. That takes us there. And I had more than one, but I'm going to keep it succinct. I'm just going to use one. A lot of them are along the same vein. Okay, single moms. Most of them are along the same vein. Let me see if this is. Should I do this one? I think it's no. Is it this one or this one? I don't know which one it is. Let me see. Okay, I don't think that one. I don't think that was it. Let me try this one. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So this is Erica. Erica, let me scoot up a little bit. Erica, 42. Erica is 42 years old. Okay. She says that well, the point I want to get to, I'm gonna skip all of this. I'm gonna go down to this part. Okay. She says I want to exit out. Okay, anyway. She says that I love to travel, do things, blah, blah, blah. 4 kids. She has 4 kids, twin boys, 20 years old, and 2 girls, 12 and 14. Now, Kevin Samuels talked about marrying women with young daughters and things like that. I went through something like that with the Philly chick. That's another story. Man, I ain't doing that no more. Oh, hell to the no. I ain't doing that no more. You know what I'm saying? Accusations because I don't want to pay a cell phone bill. Tell that dude pay your cell phone bill. That was my reply. Tell that dude pay your cell phone bill that your stepmom told me about. You know what I'm saying? And after that, here come the accusations. So this is a dangerous situation right here for any man. I would do an astronaut marriage with her. I would not live in the same home with her. Keep them kids over there. Keep them kids over there. That'd be my retort. Anyway, so twin boys, 20 years old, 2 girls, 12 and 14. Nobody comes before them, not even my twins, in that order. So nobody comes before the 12 and 14-year-old girl, not even her 20-year-old twins. I'm saying, not even they come before. So now she produced a different hierarchy there, if you notice. So she added a layer. Instead of saying my kids come first, you know, then she'll say, sometimes they say my kids, my church, and sometimes they say my kids, myself, and then you, or they'll put something else in there, you know. She layered the kids. She's saying my 12 and 14-year-old girl come first, then my 20-year-olds, twins, boys come after that. Then I guess she's prioritizing herself and her own happiness. Then come you. So you way behind. She should be prioritizing your happiness if she wants you to take over most or all of those bills. She should be prioritizing your happiness if she wants you to contribute to that already ready-made family. Okay? She should be prioritizing you because you're the one that has to protect them. You know? Now let's say a hostile person breaks into the house, or they're outside the house trying to get in, and you say, well, babe, my first priority is myself, okay? Then I'm going to prioritize you, okay? Then I'm going to prioritize your daughters, you know? And then if there ain't no bullets left, you know, I'll prioritize your 20-year-old sons. You see what I'm talking about? So, see, you can't do that when you know, when the rubber meets the road or the blank hits the fan. You can't do that. You can't do that if there's a hostile person outside trying to get in to harm the inhabitants. You can't start prioritizing. But if she says, look, you're the man, okay? If my daughters are walking around inappropriately dressed, look, if you think that's inappropriate, they're not wearing it. If my sons want to do this, and that, and you feel like I shouldn't support them because that's not a manly thing, or not the way to raise boys, and I'm gonna let you. Now, most of the time, I'm gonna tell you, very few, uh, maybe 1 out of 30 of these profiles, profiles that say they have children, will mention the father is active in their life. One of them said he's my best friend. Okay, one of them said my ex-husband's my best friend. That's fine. I don't know why y'all don't get back together. But anyway, so they always say, most of the time, like 29 out of 30 times, they'll mention there's a dude and he takes care of those kids. They're straight. Okay, most of the time they don't. 29 out of 30 ain't straight. 1 out of 30, they'll mention that they're straight. If I said it wrong the first time, that's what I meant. 1 out of 30 say they're straight. 29 out of 30 say they're not straight. And that's the problem that we're dealing with. The worst form of polygyny is to marry a single mom. I'm not kicking rocks at single moms. I'm not kicking dust or sand in the face of single moms. I'm not doing that, okay? I'm not doing that. I got single moms in my family. My mom was a single mom, okay? I'm not wishing that on nobody, especially on boys. See, my job as a father, my job as a Muslim father, we know my job. Teach them deen, be there forever to advise them, support them in what's right and prevent them from what's wrong. That's my job. The system being against me and bitter women makes it hard, but at the same time, that's my job. Added to that, societally, with my instruction and my guidance and my advice and teaching them the deen and so on and so forth, keep my daughters off the pole. Keep my daughters off the pole. You know what I'm saying? And help my sons to marry good, wholesome women. Okay? Good, wholesome women. If there was a woman got married and had a child, ended up back with her parents with that young child, and my son comes and says, "Hey, Dad, how about sister such and such?" I said, "Well, she got a child, right?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, do you know her situation?" I think I know. Well, let's sit down with our family. Let's discuss how that marriage didn't work. Because see, the family's supposed to keep that marriage together. Now, if it's irreconcilable differences, truly irreconcilable, then we have to figure out how can, why didn't that thing work? Because I don't want my son to be faced with the same situation because he's starting off in a bad situation. Now, some single moms are grateful. They'll say, "Man, wow, that dude stepped up. That dude stepped up big time." And some single moms practice bio dad alienation. And the dude that they get with after that is supporting them in that. I have a son in Georgia. She done been married twice already. I still ain't got my son. You know what I'm saying? She been married twice already. I still ain't got my son. Not only that, her first husband told her, "Give that boy to his dad." That's Islam. Second husband told her, "Give that boy to his dad." That's Islam. She said, "Nope, I ain't doing it." They married her anyway. I don't know what they expect if they get her pregnant. I don't know what they're going to expect, And that's the issue. Sometimes us men, we simp up so much, the simplification, we simp up so much, we start supporting them in doing haram. We start supporting them actually in doing haram. That's what we do. So this woman here is saying that, she has 4 kids, 2 twin boys, 20, and a 12 and a 14-year-old girl, and nothing comes before them. Nobody comes before them, not even my twins in that order. So you got her 12 and 14-year-old daughter, and then you got, you got 12, 14-year-old daughter, you got the 20-year-old sons, twins, and then you are way down somewhere, probably below the cable bill. That's my opinion. The worst form of polygyny is marrying a single mom. There are some exceptions to the rule. I'm not discussing the exceptions. I'm discussing the vast majority. The vast majority. Over 50% of households, single moms. in America, over 50%. Not much over 50, but over 50%. African American households, over 60%. 1 out of 4 African American women will marry. You say, why is that significant? Well, that's I'm a descendant of slaves like African Americans are. Okay, not Africans, but African Americans, Black Americans, what you want to call it. Okay, so anyway, I'm a descendant of slaves too. I came through that track. That's how I'm here. So 1 out of 4 will actually marry. That means that they're giving up. They're giving it up. They're giving it up and not even requiring marriage. How you know that, brother? How you know the man didn't promise? I don't care what he promised you. What he promised you? $40? Did he promise you $40? Is that why you laid down in the dying cockroach position? Is that why you didn't use one of the over 30 forms of birth control? That's why you didn't tell him to strap up? Is that why you didn't take Plan B or the morning after pill? Is that why you didn't go for abortion? Well, abortion is wrong. Laying down with a man ain't your husband is wrong. That's wrong. So you're going to be right and wrong at the same time. Pick a battle. Pick a fight. Pick an opponent. But you're going against biology, nature, societal statistics. You're going against all of that. It is bad. It's getting hard out here. It's getting hard out here. So if you're a single mom, don't lose hope. Just show more gratitude that man chose a step. Don't make it hard on him. Derek Jackson says they ain't gonna require a whole lot of you financially. So that's one of the benefits of marrying them. Boy, I don't know what this dude talking to. I mean, there are some exceptions, but long story short, a lot of them, the older they get and the more kids they have, the more strenuous are their requirements. The more concessions they start to build and stack. I ain't putting up with this. I ain't putting up. These are the dating profiles. I'm a bring a negative one to you next time. Next week, I'm going to bring a negative one. Inshallah ta'ala, if Allah spare me. I ain't putting up with this. I ain't putting up with that. If you one of these, hit the X. I'm getting tired of this and that. Don't come in and don't say good morning. Allah is my witness. Don't say I'm tired of good morning. If you text me more than 2 times, I'm going to block you. I want to talk to somebody. SubhanAllah. La ilaha illallah. Anyway, that's all that I have. This has been your brother Saad Imam for X-Factly. Inshallah ta'ala, I'll try to have another one for you next week. I pray that you enjoy it, like it, share it, disagree. The comments are there. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. The comments are there. Have with it. And see you next time, inshallah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.